There we go. All right, so yesterday we worked a lot with the connection of the gluteus maximus, your big butt muscles, to your low back. And today we're going to kind of work our way around to the sides of the pelvis. So the gluteus maximus is your biggest, strongest glute muscle, and then kind of underneath them and on the outside a little bit more, you have your gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. So you have three glute muscles on each side. And the medius and the minimus are not as big, they're not as strong as the gluteus maximus, and they're much more of a stabilizer muscle group than they are a prime mover muscle group. This is not to say that they don't have to work really hard when we're moving, because of course they do. But they are very good at the nuanced, kind of subtle movement instead of just, walking forward and backward when we have to sidestep or when we have to step up and step down and kind of manage uneven terrain and things like that. They kind of kick into gear a lot more. And really, every time you take a step, you're using these muscles. So if you're walking and your gluteus medius and maximus, or gluteus medius and minimus, were kind of on the sides, and every step that you took, when this foot, the back foot, lifts off the ground, if those muscles weren't active, you'd fall out. So our walk would be like this if we didn't have our gluteus medius and minimus. They hug our hip in, they keep us aligned when we're weight bearing on one leg, which we do every single time we walk because we're stepping through constantly. So they're very, very important muscles, and they can get aggravated very easily on a lot of in a lot of people's bodies. And I think women in particular are sometimes have a different type of challenge because of our hip ratio. So with men, their pelvis and their femur bones are a little straighter down to their knees, but women's hips are wider, and so we have more of an angle from our hip joint to our knee joint. We angle a little bit more like this, and this puts a little extra pressure on the IT band, on the TFL, on the gluteus medius and maxim or minimus on the sides of our pelvis to keep us steady and aligned. So if you get hip pain, this can absolutely be a part of the whole process. And also when you have low back pain and when you just have straight up glute pain. So they're important muscles to keep in good working order for our stability, for our strength, for our range of motion, for our comfort level in our movement. So we're going to do kind of a little exploration into those muscle groups today to kind of like feed off of what we did yesterday or on Monday. Or wait, was that yesterday? That was yesterday. What we did yesterday on Wednesday. Okay, so come to a comfortable seat and take a moment to drop your awareness down into your body and wiggle a moment, kind of get some motion in your pelvis. So you can just kind of wake up some of your spine, some of your pelvis. And then when you're ready to be steady, notice how you're sitting. Where do you land? Without having to adjust anything, what is your natural landing place for your pelvis? And then once you observe that, just notice if you are more weight bearing into one side versus the other, if you tend to roll forward or backward, if you have a rotation in your pelvis, if one hip kind of slides forward versus the other, just pay attention. And of course, there's subtleties to this because probably your legs are crossed, which is going to make things uneven. So don't worry if you find some asymmetry, that's expected, but just notice what your pattern is. Yesterday we did a lot of observing of the patterns of our body, so keep that open mind, curiosity available to you today as well. And then travel upward and downward from the pelvis. Let your legs relax. Feel that grounding feeling of support from the earth and the connection that you have to the ground. And then also feel above your pelvis this sense of space through Your spine, maybe spruce up a little bit so that your heart is open and your spine is free, supported. Align your crown over your tail, ears over your shoulders. And then see if you can relax into your spacious posture. Bring your awareness into your breath. Close your eyes and tune inward and bring your awareness into your breathing. Notice where your breath goes, where it doesn't go. Just take some time to allow some space in the breath. And soften through your eyes. Just let yourself land inside your body. And when you're ready, bring your hands to your heart. And let's bow in, offering an intention for yourself here. Okay, release your hands and let's find our way onto our back on our mat. So as you stretch out, see what it feels like to just enjoy that sense of openness in your spine, in your legs. Maybe take a moment to stretch your arms overhead and enjoy just the beautiful, simple beginning stretch that we almost always do. Let it be a cue that you're about to start moving in a way that's so nice and freeing for your body. Kind of take a little pleasure in knowing that you're starting your yoga practice. All right, and then draw your knees into your chest. And rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. Okay. And then hang on to your knees and circle your knees. Kind of a little bit of gentle rolling here. Notice your pelvis. Roll the other way. Notice if your feet like to cross or if your knees like to be a little further or if they like to touch. And notice what the feeling is across the back of your pelvis. And let's open up the knees away from the midline and bring them back in and just enjoy warming up some of the joint space, the tissues, all your muscles and tendons and ligaments. And then right knee into your chest, left leg long on the ground, and enjoy some movement here. Roll around in your ankles and wiggle through your toes and get your feet to wake up and warm up. A nice pressure of your knee into your chest. Give it a good squeeze, and then let's cross that right knee over to the left and stretch open for a twist here. Expand through your heart. Feel free to move around in your arm. You can kind of do some sweeping actions with your arm if you like, stretching through your pecs. And then coming back to center, knee into your chest. All right, let's switch sides. Left knee in, right leg long. Find your feet again. Never underestimate the power of having your feet wide awake and how it can help you with your stability and your comfort of mobility. A nice good squeeze of that knee, and then cross the left knee over to the right and stretch open through your chest here. Feel your spine. In the twist, take a deep breath. Feel free to move a little bit. You can slide your arm around. You can rock a little bit in the twist. Just any mobility that feels right for you. And then stretch open to a star on the ground. Reach your limbs really wide. Let's roll our wrists and our ankles. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Just get the edges of your body to warm up and wake up. A big breath, and as you exhale, knees into your chest, pick up your head. Okay. One more time, expand open, stretch your limbs wide, exhale, drawing your knees in. Okay. Put your head onto the ground, keep your knees there for a moment, just let your body compress your knees toward your chest, and then we'll grab onto your feet and come to a happy baby pose. You can hold inner or outer feet, whichever is more comfortable, and feel free to rock a little bit here, just opening up the low back a little bit, opening up the sacrum. Remember, you have so much fascia around that area too. It's not just lengthening and finding space in the muscles. And then relax and put your feet on the ground. Let's cross right thigh over left thigh. Draw your knees into your chest. And let's pulse a few times here and just start to wake up some of those underbelly muscles that are underneath the glutes. Okay, and you'll feel your glutes stretch here as well. Okay. Feel free to rock, sway, circle, pulse, a little bit of movement in there. All right, and then lift your legs straight up in the air, arms overhead or down at your sides, your choice, ribs rooting into the earth. Let's flex and point your toes while they're up there, so we just get another little moment of opening up your feet. And then open up your legs out wide to the sides, and then bring them back in. And just do this pass a few times where we take our legs out to a V and back in, stabilizing your core the whole way. See what you can do to make sure that your legs are doing the same thing. So look at them and notice, do you have a restriction in one side more than the other? You know, pay attention to what abduction feels like and adduction feels like. All right, and then while your legs are out there, turn your toes way out and then turn your toes in. And see what's happening when you do that subtle little movement in the hip joint itself. Keep stabilizing the core. And then we'll bring the legs all the way back up. Bend your knees. Put your right foot on the ground. Cross left thigh over right and draw your knees toward your chest. Second side. A little pulsing, a little rolling, a little rocking. Just kind of find any type of movement that's going to just help you kind of wake up and lengthen and open some of those hip muscles. Can you feel your glutes stretching a little bit? You know, where do you feel this most? Is it mostly in your hamstring or your IT band or your glutes? Like where's the tight spot for you? Okay. All right, and then relax that. Hold both knees now. One more time for some big circles, opening up your knees. And then finding a star on the ground, stretch your limbs wide. Exhale, knees into your chest, and we'll roll to our side and come up to our hands and our knees. As you find all fours, take a moment to just enjoy some cats and cows, kind of rippling that warming up that we've been doing in the legs. Let's find it now in the spine itself. There we have, you know, maybe a full ripple, one vertebrae at a time. See what you can do to notice places that might need some attention or love. Is there any place that's kind of not moving very freely? Maybe there's a part of your spine that feels really good. How's your breath? And then feel free to move around, wag your tail. Okay, so, and you can even let your feet slide a little bit, just letting your hips go side to side. All right, and then we're going to drop our hips all the way over to one side as far as they will go. Letting that outer hip get a little stretch, and then over to the other side. And notice, do they feel the same? Do they feel different? Do you have the same range of motion on both sides or no? All right, and then come back to center. Stretch back to a child's pose and feel that nice compression. And even child's pose is a good stretch for your glutes. You know, may not always feel like a big stretch, but it actually is a nice opening for the glutes and the low back. And let's walk the hands over to one side or the other so you feel that side body length, and open up from your finger pads all the way to your sit bone. And then open up to the other side. Walk your hands the other way and stretch here and enjoy. And then come back to center. Move around in your spine any way you want, maybe some circles. All right, and then we'll find a twist. Reach one arm up in the air, spread open through your chest, and then take that shoulder down and twist. Relax your head, enjoy the opening in your spine. All right, and then reach that arm back up in the air. Place that hand down onto the ground and we'll switch sides. Arm up, feel free to move your wrist around. Drop that shoulder down, twisting to the side, breathing, letting your head find ease. All right, and then we'll reach that arm all the way back to the sky. Hand comes down onto the ground and lift to a dog pose. Take a little time here, pedaling your feet, getting your calves and your hamstrings to open up. And let's remember that your glutes, all of your glutes, are part of that posterior chain of the body. So let's just enjoy opening up the whole back body, dropping one heel. Feel free to bend your knees a little bit, get your Achilles to stretch more. Just kind of find whatever is inviting to you, whatever you need to kind of focus on and open up a little bit more in your body. Spread your toes, spread your hands, spread your breath. All right, and then walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. Feel free to grab some blocks if you're liking that. Inhale for a halfway lift, opening up through the heart. Feel the heart expand forward. And maybe a little pedaling here. Dropping one hip back further than the other. So get your hips to kind of go offline as you bend one knee and straighten the other. You can feel this pattern of movement all the way down to your feet. Maybe that straight leg, the toes lift up a little bit. And just see what it feels like to kind of open up the outer hips a little bit here. All right, and then rock onto your heels, lift your toes. Rock onto your toes, lift your heels. Just a little back and forth. All right, and then ground your feet. Melt, fold forward. Let your spine open up and feel that back body lengthen. Grab onto the base of your skull with your hands. Maybe tuck your chin toward your chest. Open up those paraspinal muscles. And then we'll release our hips down. Inhale, rise up, standing all the way up, straight and tall, reaching the arms up to the sky. Feel that extension. Open up your heart. Let's cactus open your chest, spread your wings, squeeze the back body a little bit, and then exhale and round in, chin to your chest. Up again, big breath, cactus open your arms, and then exhale and round in. One more time, up, breathe, exhale, fold. Halfway lift, expand through your spine, and relax to melt here. Step back to a dog pose. Feel some extension in your body. Enjoy. Let's come forward into a plank, holding yourself steady. Are you enjoying your practice? You know, this vinyasa, it feels so good to just flow and move your body, so make sure you're enjoying. Okay, we'll find our way to the ground. Maybe roll your shoulders again. And then find your cobra pose. Inhale, open up through the front of your body. Exhale and release back down. One more time, rising up. And then exhale and lowering back down. Come up onto all fours. Move around in your spine. Give yourself a nice little wiggle. Wag your tail again. All right, so go ahead and we'll keep two hands on the ground today. Lift your right leg up in the air. And begin by grounding your left shin so you have support. Now, even though our pelvis is going to be doing two different things on two different sides, both sides are working. Let's pulse that leg a few times in the air. So you're just waking up the glutes. Press your shin down, engage your core, even weight through your hands as best as you can. All right, and then big circles. Bring your knee up toward the armpit and then underneath you to bring it back straight. Knee out to the side, up toward your armpit, underneath you, straighten your leg back. Okay, press that left shin. Use your core and your arms for support. And then pause back there, maybe a couple of more pulses. And then we'll change directions. Knee in, out to the side and around. Knee in, out to the side, and then straighten your leg behind you. Okay, let's just do a few passes. I know that your left glutes are probably feeling fatigue. That's good. That means you're using them to stabilize you. All right, and then we'll stretch back toward a child's pose and take your hands maybe and give them a shake. Just see what feels good. Lengthening through your spine. And remember, you can always take fists onto the ground instead of hands, or you can take forearms on blocks if your hands are unhappy. Okay, left leg straight up in the air. Pulse this one a few times. Press your right shin into the ground. Lots of core. Okay, just waking up your glutes, which should already be wide awake. Okay, and then we'll start to move. Bring your knee out to the side, up toward your armpit, underneath you, and straight back. I'm just getting some good range of motion. And just notice what provides that range of motion. It's our muscular engagement. You know, our muscles move our bones. So let's enjoy all this range of motion and strength that we have. How's your breathing? Any snaps, cracks, pops, clicks? And then straighten that leg, pulse a few times. And then we'll go the other direction. Knee in, out, and around. Kind of like a one-legged breaststroke kick. Okay. Straightening that leg behind you. Make sure you're breathing. Keep your stable form, your core, your right shin rooting down. All right. And then relax that and come back to a child's pose again. Roll out your wrists, give them a shake. Enjoy the stretch. That now you can probably feel the stretch through your glutes in child's pose a little bit better because we just utilized a lot of that gluteus, medius, minimus, and maximus. All right, and then lift to a dog pose when you're ready and enjoy this beautiful stretch through your glutes. Feel free to move around if you'd like. And then walk your feet forward, come to Uttanasana. A halfway lift, opening up through your spine. Exhale and surrender. Step your left foot back, come to a lunge. Ground yourself here. And we'll start to bend and straighten through the front leg. So as you straighten the front leg, feel those hamstrings stretch open. And as you bend, feel the hip flexors of the back leg open up. And just enjoy this asymmetrical movement. It's so good for us. We walk. This is a very natural pattern in our body to have asymmetry. And then pause for a moment with your legs straight. Lift your toes, square your hips, stretch your spine forward, and tuck your chin toward your chest. Just getting that sciatic nerve to open up a little bit. And then place your foot down onto the ground. Root and rise. As you come up to a crescent lunge, recognize what's holding this front leg steady. The fact that it's not wobbling has a lot to do with this gluteus, medius, and minimus. So notice your stability, ground your foot, press your heel a little bit deeper into the earth, stretch that back leg, open up through your heart, and have moments of gratitude for how strong your legs are, that they can support you in your stability and in your mobility. Hands come down, back foot comes forward, fold. Enjoy the opening through your glutes. A halfway lift. And then exhale and melt again. Step your right foot back. Come to a lunge on this side and start to find your movement. We'll bend and we'll straighten. Just kind of finding your pathway here, finding the breath. All right, and then the next time you get back to straight legs, reach that hip back, maybe lift your toes, stretch your heart forward, and tuck your chin. We keep reaching the hip back. And then we'll release your foot down onto the ground. And bring your hands onto the ground back to a dog pose. And while you're here, feet hip width apart or maybe a teeny wider. Drag your toe, press your toe beds into the ground and drag your feet apart. And this will start really helping you understand where your gluteus, medius, and minimus are. And then relax that and come forward into a plank. Push the ground away. Find that core stability. And we'll reach to the ground with our knees first. If we need it, find your way down to your belly. Take your legs wider than your hips. This first pass will have our toes pointing straight down. So kneecaps and toes pointing straight down. Legs are a little wider than your hips, hands underneath your forehead. Inhale and lift your legs up. When your legs are a little wider in abduction, abduction is when you pull away from the midline. This is turning on a lot of that glute med and glute min. So just feel the difference between this and your gluteus maximus. We'll do maximus in just a moment so you can feel the difference. All right, and then relax your legs. Bring your legs closer together. You can even touch your feet, but you don't have to. But maybe a teeny bit closer than hip width apart. And lift both your legs. Now notice the difference. This is a little bit more attention to the glute max. Can you feel the difference? And notice if one side's stronger than the other. Is your core engaged? And then release your legs. Pick up your feet and just rock your feet left to right. All right, put your feet down, take your legs wider again, so a little, maybe toes to the edges of the mat. But this time, lift up your legs and externally rotate your legs. So when you rest back down, you're resting on the inner kneecap, the inner side of the knee, you're resting on the inner ankles. So our legs are turned out. Find your breath, and we're going to lift from there with our legs turned out. And now notice, does one side lift well and the other side's like, ooh, what are we doing here? You know, do you have a lag? Keep your head down or lift it up a little bit if you want, your choice. But just notice if there's a little discrepancy between two sides or if this is harder than what we've done before. Relax and melt. Okay. Come back to neutral, lift on up and move your spine around. Wag your tail, do some cat-cows, release the back bend. Okay, so you might have noticed, oh, I'm weaker on one side than the other. This is really good information for you to know. Okay. All right, let's lift to a dog pose. Feel some extension, open yourself up. Isometrically drag your feet apart from each other and see if you can feel that sideline from your outer glutes all the way through your IT band. Root the big toe mounds and pull them apart. And then relax your legs. Walk your feet forward. Come to Uttanasana. A halfway lift, opening up through your spine. And release to melt back down. Push through the feet, rising up. And then exhale and come like a chair pose, but we're going to lean forward and put our hands on the outer knees. So not on your kneecaps, but outside your knees, on the outside edges. Feet are hip width apart. Drag your feet apart again. Press your knees into your hands, hands into your knees, and turn on those gluteus, medius, and maximus. And then surrender through there. Inhale, rise up one more time. And then trace down through the center. Pause here for a moment. Breathe. We're going to stand on our right foot and lift your left knee. So very simply, notice what your right hip is doing in our simplest of balance poses. See if you tend to push that right hip out, hug it in. This is the stabilization of those glutes. Unlock your standing knee. Find your breath. And then we'll put that foot down onto the ground and switch sides. So you can notice that you need this every step you take. And then especially if you do things like step up onto a higher height, like, if you take a couple of steps at a time, or if you're hiking and you have a big rock to step up onto, that requires a lot from these muscles. Unlock your left knee, hug that left hip in, use your core to help you. Finding your breath. If you ever notice that when you go ahead and put your foot down, that when you go up or downstairs or up or down an incline, or you're stepping down off something big, if your knee wobbles, if you're a caver in, when you do those steps, this can represent some weakness in that side of your gluteus, medius, and minimus. So pay attention to how you are walking, especially on uneven surfaces. All right, we're going to come into eagle pose. So right leg, we're going to cross the left leg on top. And you can, if you want to take the balance part of this out for a little bit, you can always hold something. Okay, squeeze your legs together and just start to squat down. Okay, engage your core. Find your breath. We're not doing the arms, so just so we can focus our attention deeply into what our legs are doing. Reach your arms straight up in the air. Neck is soft. Squeeze your legs. And then push standing, lift that knee up in the air and place that foot down on the ground. Notice if you're all fatigued in some of these muscles. How are you feeling? Okay, take a breath. Remember to breathe. We'll take some weight into our left. Cross the right leg over. And notice when you do this, when you cross over, if your hips do a weird thing, if you hike one up or push one forward, do you try to get away from the pose at all? So squat down to the best of your ability. The core and inner thighs are helping, but the stabilization is really coming from those glutes. Hands to your heart to begin. Focus your gaze. Breathe. And then when you're ready, maybe lift your arms straight up in the air. Okay, so obviously your quads are doing a lot of work, but see what's hanging out there in those glute, med, and min. And then slowly lift into a standing posture, knee up, and then we'll put our foot down. Take some nice wide legs, so turn sideways on your mat. Turn your toes out and come to a deep squat. Open up here, maybe a little rocking to and fro. maybe a little pulsing of your pelvis up and down. All right, and then come all the way up to stand. Bring your legs together and walk your legs all the way over to the right side of your mat. So, be on one side. Find your breath. We're going to pick up your left knee and step out to the side into a wide squat. And then we're going to push and come right back to where we began. And then your foot down. Let's do it twice more. Lifting that knee up with control. Step the leg wide to a squat. And then push off. Lift that left knee up and place it back down. One more time. Make sure you're breathing. Left knee up, leg out to the side for a squat. And then push off your foot, bring it back up, and place it back down. Okay, let's walk our way over to the other side of our mat. Same posture. Pay attention if one side feels like, oh yeah, I got control. Other side is like, ooh, not so much control. Just notice your patterns of strength. Okay. Standing, hands together, breathe, ground yourself. We'll lift our right knee up, take a step, wide squat, and then push back up with your right knee and place it back down. Lifting the knee up, taking a squat out to the side, and then pushing off that foot, bringing it back up and placing it down. Knee up, a wide step sideways, squat down, and then we'll push and bring our foot back down. And just notice if that lateral movement is challenging for you. Now we're going to do it a little bit differently. So we've warmed up our quads nicely for this, and we've done this a lot coming from half splits, and then we've come into a jiva squat. Let's start there, actually. This will be easier. Bring your blocks with you. Come into a forward fold. Okay. Enjoy that glute stretch. Standing on your right leg, lift your left leg up in the air. Okay. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, squat down and bring your left knee behind your right. Core is engaged. And then push your legs straight in the air. Okay, twice more. Squat down. Curtsy squat so that your knee is behind the other knee. And stretch that leg in the air. One more time. Squatting down. Lots of core, but this is your glute med and minimus supporting you here. Straighten that leg in the air. And put your foot down onto the ground. A halfway lift. And then just relax, melt, and fold, and enjoy the stretching. Grab onto those blocks. Remember to breathe. With all this concentration and balance, oftentimes our breath can get lost in the shuffle, so make sure you're breathing. Right leg lifts up in the air. The left leg is stable. Take it, squaring up the pelvis here. Take a deep breath, stretch that leg, and as you exhale, squat. Right knee behind left knee, squatting down. Push to straighten your legs. Exhale, squatting in. Push to straighten. One more time. Push to straighten, and then rest your legs down. Push through your feet, rise up to stand. Bring your arms to the sky. And trace down through the center. And just notice, are you starting to feel a little fatigue in your outer hips? This is a good thing. That's what we're looking for. All right, so we're going to try to do these curtsy squats without our hands on a block, and there's ways to modify everything. So let's start with our hands together. You can put your foot back and squat, okay? Just like you're bowing to the queen, okay? Or if you'd like, you can keep your leg in the air and do a squat. It's a little harder, okay? So your choice, maybe the first one, let's do, and we're gonna go left, right, instead of just multiple passes on one side. Maybe the first round of each, put your foot on the ground and then decide on the next round if you'd like to lift your foot up or not, okay? Find your ground, root your feet and breathe. And then I like to exhale as I touch down. See what you like. Curtsy squat. Coming back up, put that foot down, the other leg behind. Curtsy squat. Now maybe that's just where you'd like to do a few passes, just like that, and see how that feels. I'm going to do that because my toe is not feeling so great, so I don't want to balance very much on my foot. But if you want to, try keeping your foot in the air as you come down. Okay, so your choice. We'll do 4 passes each side. Okay, squatting down. Use your core, use your breath. See what it feels like. You might notice you have preference, that you have a little more control or a little more balance on one side versus the other. All right, now after you've done 4, maybe I'm faster or slower, I don't know how your pace is. We're gonna just take 1 and just stay. Reach your arms out like you're a butterfly. You engage your core and then push to straighten up. Okay, and we'll come to the other side. Curtsy squat. Stretch your arms out. Find your core and breath. Press your front foot into the ground well. And then we'll stand back up. Pause here for a moment in Tadasana and just feel how strong your legs are, that they're supporting you. A breath in and a breath out. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, floating down. A halfway lift. Relax and fold. Step back to a dog pose. Feel that extension in your body. Enjoy the stretch. Maybe have a moment of isometrically pulling your feet apart again. Come forward into a plank. Push the ground away. Find the earth. Arms and legs wide out. Take a deep breath and lift everything up. And exhale and relax. Push up onto all 4s. Wag your tail a little bit. Curl those toes under. Lift again to a dog. Isometrically drag your feet apart. Try to find balance in your effort. Release that. Walk your feet forward. Push through your feet, rising up. Trace down through the center. Go over to the right side of your mat one more time. Come to a knees, feet apart chair pose. Squat down, and we're going to do side steps. Okay. Side steps all the way over to the other edge of your mat. Then go back. And experiment. Small steps, big steps. Try to just kind of experiment with what you're feeling as you go left and right. How's your breath? Staying stable through your core, not letting our knees wobble. All right, and then pause and just notice how you feel. I haven't done very many traditional standing poses, so we'll do one, just putting it all together, traditional standing pose, so that we can sense into all this stabilization. Of course, when you're doing a lunge, like a crescent lunge, the gluteus medius and minimus is preventing that knee wobble. And now, when we take our legs wide, and we'll come into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Notice those muscles. See if you can reach from your outer knees up into your outer hips and strengthen. Press your feet into the ground. Find your breath. This is one of the reasons why these standing poses are so good for us, because they encourage us to bring our legs and pelvis into positions that we don't always get to do through the day. You know, it's not like we walk around like this, but this action, so let's go ahead and straighten up, of that wide stance helps us in so many ways when we're maneuvering our body in different ways. I mean, think about all the times when you're gardening that you step wide and have to squat to reach something, or in any activity that you're doing. There's always, think of tennis, think of so many things where there's lateral movements in your body. Take a deep breath in, and let's find this stability in this pose. So these muscles, gluteus medius and minimus, and the RT band too, are really about helping us stay stable. So if you're looking to prevent falls, if you're trying to keep your body stable, these are, your secret weapons to have these muscles strong, active, alive, aware, and stable in your body. Can help you in so many ways. Ground yourself, pull back from outer knees to outer hips, and breathe. Relax your shoulders. All right. And then turn that foot forward and just come down into a wide-legged prasarita. Open up those glutes and hamstrings. All right, good job with the hard work. Now let's spend a couple of minutes releasing some of these muscles. So turn back to the front of your mat for a dog pose. Just enjoy the full glute stretch. Lift your sit bones. Feel the heels stretch, lengthen your spine. And then we'll come down to a child's pose. And notice how good child's pose can feel. Compress your thighs. Compress your knee joints, your hip joints. And then come to sit. Grab a blanket to sit upon, if you'd like. And then we'll take our right leg and put it next to our right foot next to our left hip. Then cross your left leg over your right to the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Now, if this isn't good for your knees, or you feel like you're all contorted or can't lift the spine, go ahead and straighten that bottom leg. But if you can do this variation comfortably, try this variation for today. Draw the knee in, lift your chest. Even this can be a great stretch for the glutes without even having the twist involved. And then you decide what you want to hold with. Take your right hand behind, or left hand, sorry, behind you. Right hand can be on your knee, right forearm can be around your knee, or right elbow to the outside of your knee. So it doesn't matter, you choose what feels best for your body. And twist. Be on the center of your sit bones. Lift up through your spine. And then come back round. And we'll switch sides. Other leg on top. Now our right foot is next to the left knee, and our left foot is next to our right hip, or straighten that left leg underneath you. Try not to list off to the side. Ground both your sit bones, reaching up through your spine. I feel an IT band stretch on my left leg, or the bottom leg right now. So notice what that leg is feeling as well. Hand behind you, right hand behind you. Lift the left arm up and bring it to the outer knee. So your hand, you can start with just two hands here and feel that nice stretch. And then you can take the hand or the forearm or the elbow, whichever variation works best for you. See if you can mirror what the other side did. How's your breath? How's the alignment of your spine? All right. And then come back around. Okay, take the soles of your feet together farther away from your pelvis so you have some space between pelvis and feet. Lift your spine and drop some weight of elbows into knees. The heart is forward instead of collapsing downward. Breathing deeply. If you can just allow some of that ease through the hips. All right, and then when you're ready to come up, grab your strap. We'll come on to our back. Bring your right knee into your chest. And then we'll wrap the strap around your right foot and lift it straight up in the air. Your left foot can be on the ground with knee bent, or your left leg can be straight, your choice. Open up through the spine, the glutes, the hamstrings. And then we're going to take the strap into the left hand and cross the right leg over to the left. Take your right hand against the very tippy top of your right thigh and press it away. All right, then release the strap. Put your right foot on your left knee and come to a reverse pigeon on this side. Now, sometimes, especially after the work we've just done, I like to put my right hand on my right knee and my left hand on my right foot and just kind of circle around. You can experiment. Press anywhere you want to press. Just find your little special spots that feel good to open up. You can even, if it's comfy for you, drop your legs off to the left and then press your right foot knee away from you. So just kind of get into the nooks and crannies. Experiment with the mobility that feels releasing to you. All right, and then stretch that right leg on the ground, both legs on the ground for a minute, and just wobble your legs in, out, in, out. Just let them wobble. Take the left leg in the strap. Lift that left leg straight up in the air. Just open up the glutes. Relax your head. Breathing deeply. All right, and then we'll cross left leg over to the right, strap in the right hand, left hand on the thigh. Press it away. How's your breath? Melt your head, get heavy.
down, come back up. Left foot on right knee. Either just come right into a reverse pigeon, or if you want to do a little bit more mobility, you can put your hand on your knee and just experiment. Slide around. Remember, all the choices are available to you. And you might find that what felt good on the other side isn't what this side needs. So just kind of experiment with what it is that you're looking for. And remember, you can always do that twist too, where you keep your legs right where they are, but you drop your knees over to the right and press your left knee away. Lots of choices to just open up the hip in the way that feels good to you. All right, and then relax that. Grab onto your feet. A happy baby. Maybe a little rocking left and right. And then close up the practice how you want. You might want a little rocking twist from left to right, maybe a fuller twist. Maybe you really need to stretch your quads and you can roll over onto your side and get a quad stretch. So just kind of find any last completion that your body is calling for. There's no rush. You do you. And as you are ready for Shavasana, just take your time settling into your posture. And of course, if you want any support under your head, under your knees, legs up the wall, legs on a couch, flat on your back, whatever feels right for you for this moment. Make sure you push props away from you so you're not touching random straps and things. And as you settle, just allow your body to fully rest into the ground. Just drop your weight. Let's have a moment of gratitude for all the strength in your body to carry you from the moment you wake up in the morning to the moment you lie back down at night. All the things that you do. What a blessing to have our mobility and strength. So marinate in the gratitude of your well-being. Let's begin to deepen our breathing. Feel your weight on the ground. And then when you're ready, invite movement. Small movement, big movement. See what feels right to your body. Eventually come onto your side. Use your arms to lift yourself. Taking your time. As you come to a seat, notice the feeling of your ground. Do you have a different sensation in your seated posture than you did earlier? Feel your breath. Let's bring our hands together. And in this grounded place, let's offer our energy. Send your love and care to another. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.